I'm extremely pleased to be able to have the main man in charge of answering these big questions for Abu Dhabi, His Excellency, the Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology from the United Arab Emirates, Group CEO of ADNOC, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber. Welcome, Dr. Sultan.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for the opportunity and for inviting me to join you today in this very important platform.
I'd like to start off, first of all, with the short-term market outlook, and in particular, the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, some companies are cutting costs, they're restructuring, they're postponing initiatives, but how are you thinking about the COVID-19 pandemic at ADNOC?
At the core of our response to COVID has been a safety-first approach, meaning we test early, we test often, test again, and we test again. As you may be aware, the United Arab Emirates has carried out more than 10 million tests so far. And that is more than one test for every citizen and residents in the United Arab Emirates. This, in our view, is a great public health effort. It is, in fact, a testament to the careful and, in fact, prudent guidance of our leadership in the UAE. Now, when it comes to managing the economic impact of COVID, it really comes down to the fact that we're realizing the benefits of the transformation that you've just mentioned, which we started about 4 years ago. As you know, Alex, over this period, we have been very much focusing on improving our performance and ensuring that we drive our costs down, strengthening our agility, while of course, always reinforcing efficiency throughout our business. Most importantly, we have focused on what we can control, and that is our costs.
You've been able to raise about $16 billion this year from pipeline deals and real estate deals. How has ADNOC been able to sort of pull this off, and what's next? Are there more of these deals coming down the pipe?
I think, Alex, this comes down to the fact that the UAE has created a safe, reliable, stable business environment, also underpinned by a very unique partnership model. This environment is very attractive to the global investment community, who view the UAE as a highly trusted go-to investment destination. What is important to note is that the long-term structural market for oil and gas is very robust, with demand, according to OPEC and others, is expected to grow to 109 million barrels per day over the next 20 to 25 years. And this is, in a way, in line with global economic growth. At the same time, in the short term, we in the UAE and in ADNOC in particular are keeping a close eye on the potential impact of a new COVID restriction on the strength or the speed of economic recovery. And on this point, I must commend our partners across the board, and in particular in OPEC Plus, for their collective positive response, their speedy response, their efforts to balance supply and demand during this very critical period. And as part of this effort, the UAE continues to adhere closely to all agreed cuts.
What I'd like to ask you is, what's your view of the speed and shape of the energy transition? And how are you, as the CEO of ADNOC, preparing the company for the future of what, a wide number of varieties? We don't know what it looks like, but how are you preparing the company for those wide numbers of outcomes?
Our view, Alex, is that by 2030, oil and gas will continue and will remain playing at the heart of ADNOC's business model. And simply that is because even in the most fast-paced transition scenarios, oil and gas will still provide over half the world's energy needs for many decades to come. Our role in this future will be to produce the world's most cost-efficient and carbon-efficient barrels. This combination of cost efficiency and carbon efficiency gives us in ADNOC and in the UAE a distinct competitive advantage. It is a clear differentiator, particularly as investments in exploration in other regions around the world are actually coming under pressure.
I want to ask you one question about your downstream strategy, which is extremely important.
Our downstream expansion, which we launched about 2 years ago, is in fact an essential key to further stretching the value of every barrel we produce. At the core of this strategy is the world-scale refining and petrochemicals hub that we have here in Abu Dhabi, in Ruwais. And just a few months ago, we announced a new venture, a new joint venture with Abu Dhabi holding company, ADQ, which will be a key enabler of our downstream expansion goals, creating an investment platform to attract domestic and international partners who will help accelerate the development of our chemicals and derivatives industry here in Ruwais. The opportunity here is just huge to capitalize on our natural assets, high quality feedstock, the excellent location to drive significant returns on investment, nurture the SME sector, and of course, create sustainable economic growth.
Thank you very much for your time today, Dr. Sultan. It's been always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Alex.